What's going on, y'all? This is Josh from Team Super Shoe, and welcome back to another episode of The Shoe Show. We are not talking about Vans shoes. We are talking about the shoe of NASCAR Corey LaJoie and just anything NASCAR related. Today, I am super excited to bring on the engineer for the number 7 Chevy Camaro, Mr. Roy Gangdal. He is taking time away from it. Today is, I know this is coming out in December, but this is actually recorded the day after Phoenix. So really cool to talk to him fresh off of the season and get to know him a little bit. So without further ado, let's bring him on, Roy Gangdal. All right, we'll start in 3, 2.
Man, well, I feel honored that y'all asked me to be on the Shoe Show.
All right, y'all, Team Super Shoe, we are here, honored to have on the engineer for the number 7 Chevy Camaro, Mr. Roy Gangdal. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing good. I appreciate you coming to hang out with us. We are not showing this episode until December, but today is the day after the Phoenix race, the championship race. And so I appreciate you. I know that you guys were hustling to get back in town and all that. So this is pretty cool to get to talk to you before you get to enjoy your days off. So,
yep.
Yeah. So wanted to know, since it's the end of the season, is there any fun like Spire party or Spire dinner planned?
We'll have our annual Christmas get together. It's basically just a lunch at the shop. We have a little games we play for luncheon, and we have a team lunch once a week at the shop to keep everybody together. You know, sit down and have a little meal. But at Christmas we have a little bigger one. Last year we were spinning wheels for prizes, and it was a lot of fun.
Nice. Very good. So, this year I got to meet you in Daytona, and like I was kind of chatting with you before we started recording. I truly appreciated to be able to just be invited and talk to you. And I was so enthralled to talk to you that like there's all this like pre-race stuff and drivers walking by and all the different things going on. And I was just like, so kind of, I was kind of taken back at the fact that I was able to have like a real raw conversation with an engineer, of my favorite race car. So I just thought that was really cool, and I appreciate that. And I honestly kind of left that conversation more empowered to be a fan of a small team that's coming up. I feel like it has a little bit more of a feels more special than just jumping on a bandwagon of somebody else. So I just want to say I appreciate that, man. And you showed me some like sim stuff. You guys had been, you guys worked to the bone, and you guys worked till 3 a.m. and all that. And you guys are working on a simulator. Is that the same sim as like a Chevy sim, or is that a totally different thing?
So I'd say around Darlington this year, the second race at Darlington, September, General Motors has allowed us to actually go once a week. We have support from GM now. We didn't have that early on in the season. We had a General Motors simulation tool on our computers that we run. The simulator allows Corey to get in and actually drive the car, the setup that I build on my computer, like basically what you would see as iRacing. He has the screens and the track and shifting, and I can make changes and get his feedback before we actually show up at the racetrack. I think that it's improved our vehicles unloading with the limited practice that we do have. Since September at Darlington, I've felt that we've made big strides at Spire for basically top 20 race cars. I think Darlington would have been a top 10. We got the Darlington stripe, but we were running fairly strong. Kansas, I think we were in 16th when we got caught up in a wreck on a restart. Going to Atlanta was a great run at the end there. So Phoenix, championship race weekend, we finished 18th, finished on the lead lap. It's helped us. Even the Roval, right? The Charlotte Roval at the end of the season, October 12th. We spent 2 weeks on the simulator for the Roval. So I think that with General Motors' help that we've now are, getting, and the steps forward Spire's making, I think that it's a big help. So yes, General Motors, it is a GM sim. They write the software and they continually update it and work with the engineers at Spire, the 7 and the 77 engineer, and it's helped a lot for our performance.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's good to hear that Chevy's, bringing you guys into the club now, so you can finally start running all that. Because when you showed me that, I had heard, earlier in the season, I don't know if it was from Corey, I can't remember what it was from, but that, that it wasn't, you guys weren't there yet. So that's great to hear.
At the beginning of the season, we were not there yet. We had the simulation on the computer that I can make some laps, but it wouldn't allow me to get Corey's feedback until after the race weekend, right? So I'd put the setup in the car, he'd go and practice, and then, maybe we were way out to lunch, maybe it was okay, and it would take a little longer for us to zero in on some things. Now I can run 20 setups through, before we get to the racetrack, and Corey gives me some feedback, and we can unload a little closer than we would be. So I think we've come a long way with it.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. That's good news. So I wanted to ask you about, you have worked with Roger Penske and Chip Ganassi, then you went Go Fast and now Spire. I kind of wanted to know what brought you to the Spire camp, and what is the difference between Spire and the other teams?
Well, so the other teams, there's a lot more specialized departments. There's a lot more people, right? So you don't need somebody running around doing a little bit of everything. With a smaller team like Go Fast or like Spire, I'm involved in a lot more of a little bit of everything, right? So, I've been doing this for 20 years. I have 2 kids, and with the big team, you need to be there, ready to go at all times. And I get it. Penske won the championship. Now, I have a little more flexibility with Spire. They're more of a family company. They understand, like, if I want to take a few hours to go meet my daughter's teachers at school, they don't worry about that stuff. And at the same time, they know I'm going to work in the evening to make up for any work that we would be losing. So it's not like they're giving up performance. They're just they understand more, like, the people. It's built around the people. That's what I really enjoy about Spire. Like, even if I got a job offer from somebody else, I wouldn't want to leave. Like, Spire, I'm not out there chasing the trophies. For me to get Corey's first win in Cup is going to be awesome, and every year that I've been with Corey, we've improved, right? I was at Go Fast with Corey and came to Spire with Corey, and and I get along great with Ryan Sparks. I mean, I think we just have a good team of people. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
That's awesome. Yeah. And when we were talking at Daytona, you'd kind of mentioned about how, the limited budget, the limited amount of people, can you explain to the viewers what you told me is about, how close Spire is to being, the, top contenders, to being a track house who, came from out of nowhere this year. And how it's more about the people, and that these cars are all pretty much equal.
So I wouldn't consider Trackhouse coming out of nowhere. I mean, they took over Ganassi. They have a solid foundation to start. Spire has been on their own for 2 years now. This is our second full-time season. When they initially acquired the charter from the Martin Truex, the 78 car, they ran that charter through Premium as a Spire contender, Spire car. This now is Spire Motorsports is 100% their own deal. They're not relying on anybody else to run their deal. So everything they do is to build Spire Motorsports. So we're only a 2-year-old team. We have good people in place, and we didn't want to overstaff the place to then all of a sudden turn around and lay people off. So there's been some growing pains. But I think that they've done it right. If you look at some of the teams that have been built, right? The 78 car when it was in Colorado, or even Phoenix Racing when Kurt Busch went and drove for Phoenix, Finch down in South Carolina. You don't come out and win races right away. You build a foundation. So we ran 30th. Now we're running 25th. Now we're running 20th. Like, we ended the season consistently in the top 20s race cars, right? Now, our budget is, I don't know, 30th place budget, and we're finishing 25th in races. So this offseason, we're investing some more money. We're hiring some more engineers, getting our tolerances tighter on our parts and pieces for the simulation, like getting everything measured so it's correct. And it's a step in the right direction. It's cost a little bit more money, so it's going to improve our performance. Now, I mean, I'm excited about next season. It's going to be 36 good cars. There's none of this back marker charters anymore. Like going to Daytona, I think there's going to probably be 42 cars qualifying for Daytona next year. So it's going to be some tough racing to still run in the 20s. And I believe in Corey's ability. I believe in my crew chief's ability to make good pit calls. And with General Motors helping us more, I believe that, you're going to see consistent improvement. I read on your page today or yesterday when I got home, it was, you had the statistics of the most top 20s. I think 14 top 20s this year, but we also had the most 30th and worse, right? We had some parts failures with this new car, steering rack issues, loose wheels, stuff like that is growing pains for this type of car. But you see the performance gains, and you also see like the stuff that we're going to fix, or we have fixed. We've gone in-house to have our own steering racks done in-house now. Haven't had any issues with those lately. And they're catching teams. There was guys, I think it was Suarez at the Roval, right? He had steering rack issues. And then I think some at Bristol, there was some. So it's still biting teams, in performance, and we're trying to get those under control. So again, that's something that if I was at Penske building shocks in the shock department, I wouldn't be involved with any of that stuff. Now it's a lot more enjoyable for me, just as my personality, to have my hands on a little bit of everything. It's not so boring sitting in the corner doing one thing over and over.
Cool. All right. So yeah, that gives us all a lot of hope, and it's cool that you're checking out the page. We all think it's pretty cool that you guys get involved a little bit. So you have had an extensive career. You've been working for Ryan Newman, Juan Pablo Montoya, Matt De Benedetto, just to name a few. And now with Corey LaJoie, is there anything that you have experienced or learned or gone through with all these older teams or drivers that maybe you've extended your hand and and advice to Corey?
No, not really. I mean, I was actually at the 43 car at Petty's when I was with AJ Allmendinger, and then Eric Amarola came to drive the 43 after that. And Corey was our development driver at Petty Motorsports, along with Ryan Truex. So, my relationship with Corey dates way back, even though I didn't have anything really to do with his development car. I mean, I built some shocks for the guys when he was running his cars, and he had a great season there, but it's kind of like interesting to me that it comes full circle. I was at BK Racing right before Corey joined BK Racing, and then Go Fast Racing. We're across the street from TriStar, where Corey was driving part-time with Cole Witt. And I've worked with Cole Witt prior at Swan Racing. So it's and at BK as well when Cole Witt was there. So my relationship with Corey is pretty close, even with when he was driving for other teams, right? So I have a good feel. Like some drivers, will like certain types of feels, right? Some guys like a platform that is very stiff if they came from an open wheel car. Some drivers like to drive off the right rear of the cars. Some drivers like to drive off the right front of the cars, in slang terms, And I think I know what Corey feels in a race car when he says it's doing something. And I kind of like, no, well, he's feeling this. So I believe that, I'm a little ahead of the game knowing Corey's feels as far as like if I wanted to change something or what he's feeling. And same with Ryan Sparks. Him and I work very well together and deciphering comments and data that we look at from the simulator and from on track. And we've now have good driver debriefs every week that we rerun our simulation tools back through the setup. So like next week, we'll go back to the simulator and we'll run Phoenix. So we ran Phoenix ahead of time. We'll run Phoenix again and see, like, does this correlate to what you felt in the race? So it's good for us going next season to go back to the simulator before Phoenix and put that same setup in and say, here's where we were. What do we need to work on? So,
right. Okay. Well, no rest for the wicked, I guess, huh?
Well, yes. I mean, the off season goes by very quickly. I hear from a lot of fans, they're like, well, I bet you're excited that it's the off season. The off season goes by so quick by the time, we get back and, it's just like any other company. You have to take your 2 weeks vacation, right? And then we'll shut down for 3 days at Thanksgiving and a few days at Christmas. But there's not downtime. We're already working at the Coliseum cars, and then the Coliseum's on the West Coast. And while the Coliseum cars are being built now, we're going to build the Daytona stuff for the 500. So there's not a whole lot of off season as people think. It's still busy.
Yeah. All right. Well, here I thought you were going to be hanging out in the Bahamas for 3 months, and I guess I was wrong. So, all right. Well, so my last question before I let you go, I wanted to know, you had mentioned how much it would mean to get that first win with Corey and have your hand in it. So obviously we have the next season coming up. So Corey goes out, wins the Daytona 500. What is Roy Gangdal drinking in Victory Lane?
Well, that'd be a pretty fun one there. I have no idea on that one there, but I mean, I was very excited for both Atlanta races this year. Atlanta's I really just like that racetrack. I've had success there with Ryan Newman. We had 6 poles in a row there, and that was, there's certain tracks that I enjoy, certain tracks that drivers enjoy. I really like Dover, the facility. It's like a gladiator arena, But yes, Daytona is a special one. Martinsville's very good for us. I feel we run fairly solid at Phoenix. This week we had a little different package, and it was okay. It wasn't wonderful. So I think that we're going to take what we have. Like, we unloaded with a different package this Phoenix than we did the first one. It was a step in the right direction. I think that, we're going to take it and improve on that. And I feel that Corey drives Phoenix pretty well. The car wasn't there for him this week. It was okay. It was a top 20 car, and we brought it home 18th, and it was on the lead lap. He raced his butt off. It was a good drive. I'm satisfied with it, but I always want more, so. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Atlanta races. I'm looking forward to Daytona. Corey's a very good speedway racer. I mean, you saw it, go fast. We were always there at the end, and I think that we have a full-time driver in the 77 next year. That's going to be a great teammate for Corey to work with. It's better when we have a regular driver where we can have the same setups. You don't have to adjust the setup for one driver's feel, and we can work with both crew chiefs to bounce ideas back and forth at air pressures or spring rates or wedge, and help tune the cars in closer as a team. So Ty Dillon's also a great speedway racer, right? So we'll have a good drafting partner. I believe so.
Awesome. Well, Roy, thank you so much for coming on the Shoe Show and getting to, hang out with us on Team Super Shoe. We all really appreciate seeing all aspects of, of the garage. So it's just an honor to have you on.
Hey, thank you very much for having me.
All right, Roy. Thank you.
Yep.
Roy, again, thank you so much for coming on the Shoe Show. It is it's an honor to be able to talk to all you guys from the garage. The careers of NASCAR fascinates all of us fans. We're all a little jealous, so it's cool to talk to you and get to hear your perspective. And you really give us all hope that next year is going to be a really good year. So I'm ready for Daytona. I'm ready for the Clash. I don't know. I need to start the timer. So anyways, y'all, I appreciate you hanging out with me. If you haven't already, please like, comment, share, all that stuff. If you haven't hung out with us on Team Super Show on Facebook, that's where all of this has started. So hopefully you come over and you hang out with us there. We have a lot more conversation there than we do here on YouTube. Otherwise, guys, just God bless, stay safe, and enjoy the holidays.